Welcome to Retail Retold, the stories behind how that store landed in your neighborhood. I'm Chris Ressa, in conversation with the people and stories shaping retail and real estate. Brought to you by DLC. Welcome to Retail Retold, everyone. Today I'm joined by Matt Vilardo. Matt is the owner of Root Runners in Sparta, New Jersey. I am excited for Matt to be on the show. Matt is a longtime family friend. I have known Matt for over 20 years, so I'm excited for him to be here. Welcome, Matt.
Hey, thanks for having me, Chris. It's truly an honor and a privilege to be with you and to get to see you after so many years. It's wonderful. So thanks. But yeah, I mean, I'm 33 years old. I have a beautiful wife. I have two kids. I consider myself to be like a nomadic entrepreneur, and think I finally found my place to stay in retail, surprisingly. And yeah, so after multiple startups and rental properties and all that fun stuff, I found my place in retail, and I'm looking forward to being here and talking about that with you.
Excellent. And you started this, when did your store open?
So we officially opened the doors May 27th, 2021. So
Amazing.
yeah,
Right?
it's been pretty wild.
I imagine. So family's good? I mean,
Yeah, everyone's healthy,
your sister,
thankfully. Nicole, and she's got three kids now. She took
wow.
one from 2 to 3, and they're good. And so definitely blessed amongst everything that's going on to be able to have a healthy family and opportunities to take on. So
So your mom is one of the people that one day down the line, some point, I'm going to have to owe. Was amazing to me. Your mom was truly incredible to me. I don't know if you know this. You might know this. You may. Do you know your mom bought me a car?
I did, yeah, I did know that.
Your mom bought me a car. It was a crazy time in my life, and your mom was just fed up, and she bought me a car, and we went, and she was willing to buy me like
Sure.
pretty nice car, but we ended up with a 1997 Toyota Corolla at the time, and it was perfect for me that I needed. That car lasted me like 6 years through college. So,
Yeah,
so your mom's one of the people I owe. So
she's got a heart, man,
yeah,
and she loves to use it. That's for sure.
yeah.
Um,
Okay. All right. The Corolla.
Yeah.
All right. We have a section called Clear the Air. I've got 3 personal questions for you. Are you ready?
Mhm. All right, do it.
All right. Question 1. When is the last time you tried something for the first time?
Does having a second child count as an answer?
Sure, sure. But I think I don't think so, actually. I'm gonna say because you already had a child, so it's not the
Yeah,
first time you
sure.
had a child.
Right. Well, I feel like a second one, that's just a game changer. But all right, so fair enough. So let's look. How about opening a retail store during a global pandemic?
Sure. That's a great answer, and we're gonna get into more of that. Perfect. Okay, question 2.
Mhm.
What is one skill you don't possess but wish you did?
Oh, that's excellent. That's a good one. Honestly, I always think about this a lot in terms of that skill, and I really would like to have the skill set of a licensed plumber. I just feel like there's always a plumbing issue going on, and I have the basics, but I want to be like a good solderer. I want to work with PEX. I want to fix my
Wow.
furnace on demand. I don't know why. If that specific segment of home ownership is where I'm lacking and would like that expertise. So my final answer is the capabilities of a licensed plumber.
That's an amazing answer, and no one's ever said that, so I love the answer. Okay, question 3. It's one of my favorite questions. What is one thing most people agree with, but you do not?
Okay, I got one for you. All
Okay.
right. So I think a lot of people, and I've actually been told this, they tell me that I'm un-American because I've never seen the movie A Christmas Story. You know, it literally runs on repeat from Christmas Eve to Christmas for 24 hours, and I've never seen it. And I'm
Um,
never going to. I don't have any desire to do it. So I'm sorry. I don't have.
I do enjoy The Christmas Story. It is a good movie. I wouldn't say that I watch it every year, but I would say every couple years I take a plunge in, and when my kids I think my kids need to be get a little older before they watch it. I don't think it's I don't know what it's rated, but today I don't think it would be G.
Yeah, no.
So, but anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we are here to talk about Root Runners,
Mm.
which is your new store that you opened up, you created out of nothing. Why don't you tell us how this all transpired and how you ended up with Root Runners in Sparta, New Jersey? And maybe even before that, tell us a little bit about what the store is.
Sure. Yeah, so I can dive in here, right?
Yep.
We got
Yeah, let's dive in.
to take the plunge, and we got the wetsuits on. All right. Well, Root Runners, when it first came about, it really was derived with my personal experience from running and the effects it had on me and still continues to have on me. But essentially, when I was 19 years old, I was battling some MDD, some major depressive disorder, and severe anxiety, and kind of just consumed my life, given what we had gone through as a family. And one night I was in bed, and I can remember laying there, and I was just in this really dark place, and didn't really know where it was taking me, but I just felt numb and unable to move, and I was brought to this memory of myself and my father at our high school track, on a piece track. And he said to me, we're gonna walk the curves and run the streets. And that was September 10th, 2001. And
Oh
as
my
we all
God.
know, as Americans, the very next day, on September 11th, 2001, in the World Trade Center were attacked. My father was one of those innocent lives who was lost that day. So that memory that I had when I was 19, in that particular moment, it kind of woke me up, and I just went outside and put on my shoes, and I just went for a run. And I've always been active. I always like working out. I never just ran to run them. And from that moment, that lift mentally that I got from running, um, was just something that I continued to pursue. So I continued to run, and I continued to grow. And it took me from every distance of race, the 5K to marathon, and that was great. And that uh, helpful to your confidence, abilities, relationships that I made with people, the lives of people that I've seen running change, people who couldn't walk and then run, good people like Denise Castelli, who lost her leg, and she's out there and she's inspiring people and running marathons and doing Ironmans. And all of this just kindled this passion inside of me to find a way that I can communicate and to offer this experience of better mental well-being through the act of running, or if you're new to it, just even moving and walking. So I thought, after a long time, it's been years, 14, 15 years since that night, and throughout the course of my professional career doing other things, what can I do that can marry the purpose and the profits of my passion? And opening a run walk specialty store was the best way that I thought I could start, and start in our community, Sussex County, New Jersey here. And that was just so profound in my soul for so long that finally, when during COVID, sadly we see so many businesses that were unable to endure the pandemic. But for me, it was an opportunity to find space that I know I'll be able to have good leverage on, and have an opportunity, if I could find the right spot, to work out a good deal, and to make my passion of helping others through running a reality. So
Wow.
that's when it started.
When what did you do? Tell everybody, because you mentioned a bunch of startups. What did you do before you opened a running store. So there's this 15-year gap before you're a retail store owner.
Mhm.
What was your career like?
Yeah, so at the early age of, right after right going in, when I was 20 years old, I started a turf management landscape construction business. And that grew to be something very successful for us and my partner, and something that I'm still a part of today. And that was primarily the bulk. But during that came an opportunity to flip lots of homes during the financial crisis. And then from there, I managed a lot of private equity for myself and for others, and really just dabbled in multifamily homes and rentals, which I still own today, and things that just kept continuing to build upon my personal portfolio, if you will.
Got it.
Yeah.
So going back, you opened the store in May.
Mhm.
When did you say, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to step away from the day to day of running a landscape construction company. And I'm going to open a running store.
Yeah, I'll never forget it. I drove by a building in Sparta that I always loved just because it's old architecture. It's right in the main street, and it had a for rent sign in it. And it's a place I always saw route runners being. And I called my wife and I said to her, and I said, "Hey, we have to have a talk because I think I found the spot. It's open, and I'm ready to do this." During the pandemic, everything was crazy, right? Everyone had an opportunity to kind of reflect on what's going on in their lives, and you still hear it today in the labor market that people are just not returning to the places they were because they're looking for other opportunities. So I had that moment when I saw that space that I've always envisioned my dream being. And then that night, I talked to my wife about it, and I said, "I can't do this unless you're in." And she said, "I'm in." And then from there, it was just off to the races.
Incredible. You you decide you're going to do this,
Mhm.
and you're an entrepreneur, so there's a lot that goes on gut, and you take risks that
Mm.
some big businesses don't do.
Mhm.
But what went into the fact that you thought Sparta would be a good location for a running store, right?
It's a great question. And what really is, so if you look at Run Specialty and where it's located, Morris County, has tons of running stores. Sussex County, we don't have anything over here. We're underserved. And for me, as a runner in Sussex County, I'd have to drive 40 minutes to get what I needed. So it really was just like that arbitrage investment of being able to cut that um, consumer from, and if that's just in Sparta, if you're further north in Sussex, you're driving an hour, if not more. So it's such an active community. The trail system, the running groups, it's all there. It was just going somewhere else. So I knew that there was a place for us here in Sussex.
Got it. That for rent sign that you saw, is that the location that you're in today?
It's not.
Oh, so what happened?
Yeah. So I started talking to the owner, small place, and He, um, he had a lot of shystiness going on with him, and
Okay.
I don't know if I could say shystiness, if that's even a word, but, constantly changing things and adjusting things that after we agreed upon things, and I didn't like our connection. I said, "This is not who I wanna do business with. I'm gonna keep looking. I'm not forcing doors on this, new investment. I'm gonna continue to move forward." So I just pulled the plug and continued to look from there.
Okay. You find a new spot.
Mm,
Walk us through the process, right? You've owned business, and so and you're an entrepreneur and an investor. You're good at starting businesses, but this one, you're selling a consumer product versus a
mm.
service. You have to have connections with vendors who sell Brooks or whatever shoes that you sell in your store. How did that all evolve?
It's pretty funny. I had 0 idea, to be honest, about how that was gonna all take place, but I had to dive into it,
Right.
and, I called, after finally figuring out the sales reps' numbers and doing some due diligence on how to get an authorized retailer, I called, I'll never forget the Saucony rep, Eddie Joyce, who's been in the market forever, and he's like, "Do you have a business plan?" And I'm like, "I got some things together." And meanwhile, I'm like, "Oh my God, I didn't know to what extent I had to go through." I thought I have a space, right? That was my first step. Let me show everyone I have a space,
Right.
right? And then from there, it's like, cool, No, it wasn't the case. I was so oblivious, I guess, consumed with everything else. I didn't, you never think anything through entirely, and that I guess got blindsided completely by that. But, fortunately, with what I was able to put together and after talking with him, once you get one, going to the next one's a little easier because they're like, oh, Saucony's on board. All right, New Balance is like, I'll take this to my management, tell them that Saucony's on board. They're all interconnected. They know when they want to open up. But yeah, that threw me for a loop because it was like not as easy as I thought it was gonna be. But after learning it from like the first two, then three, four, five, and six made it a heck of a lot easier. And it just snowballs into, getting all the vendors on board.
Understood. And when did you lock down the location? What's the time period? You opened in May.
Yeah.
When did it lock down?
Signed our lease September of 2020. And so it was all of 2020. I was looking, been through a couple different spots. There was a new plaza opening up a little bit north of Sparta, but the area is growing tremendously. So
Sure.
it was with where a new shop rate is, and they're very prominent, real estate owners who own that. So great space, great frontage, really loved it. Just excessively high for what I felt comfortable doing. So when I found this plaza that's very well known in Sparta, met the owner. He built the building in the 80s. Just has a complete passion for his tenants and for what he does. I knew it was going to be right, for us.
Totally.
This was the spot. So yes, that was September of 2020. We signed the lease.
So what were you doing from September of 2020 to when the doors opened in May?
I'd go to work during the day. When the kids went to bed, I drove up to the store and was putting hammer to nail. My wife's an architect, so she designed the whole space. And basically, you
Well,
have
that was handy. That was nice.
incredible. Yeah, really. I mean, she designed everything. I probably would have done it much less expensive, but it wouldn't have looked nearly as nice as she did. So
So you ended up saving on labor because you were doing a lot of the work. You owned a landscaping and construction company, so you're able to do that. What was the total with working capital, coming in a pandemic, opening a retail store, all the build out? What do you think you ended up investing in when you opened the doors May 2020?
about
Point
150,000.
about 150.
Yeah.
So you're in 150 and you open the doors.
hmm
And so
I was planning on 75, by the way, but you always double it. That's as far as it goes.
so one, I can tell you this is not unique. Right. This is not unique. We see every year we have hundreds of stores that open in our properties. And, you know, it's certainly a challenge, especially now. And we have a dedicated construction management team and I have a general
Mhm.
contracting team that works with me. And right now, given everything going on, the ball is always moving. So it is not easy. It is not easy to keep your handle on that right now, especially with all the supply chain stuff.
Yeah.
So the when you were opening the doors
Mhm.
May 20, you had to do some marketing beforehand, right? So talk to me about what were some of the things you did to get the word out? How did you get the word out that you guys were coming here?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think what I love about the run specialty is that connection you have with the community. And so for me, it was going right to the people that have the biggest influence in the community, to our target audience, if you will, right? I talked to all the track coaches from the local high schools and some of the middle schools, was able to build really good relationships with them. I spoke to the leaders of all the running groups in the area and then started from there, already figuring out ways of how we're going to build and grow and have events and do all that stuff. And then obviously social media, you play that to your strong suit. So, right off the bat, I just wanted to get in and start meeting the people who are involved with what we're looking to do. And then from there, the connections continue to grow. And we work our way from the people who are actually coaching the kids or having to run groups to the practices from the physical therapy, the podiatrist, going there, introducing myself, talking about things, building that grassroots foundation. And then, yeah, as soon as you open the doors, it's a floodgate for everyone who wants you in their newspaper or the this and then that. So I tried to pick and choose wisely. I didn't want to overextend, from my past experiences of running businesses. Grassroots is one of the best ways in terms of trust within a consumer. So that's where I wanted to start. And that's kind of what, pushed things forward.
So I got one, and we go through this all the time. So we're on the position that brick and mortar, and I'm pretty public about this on all social media platforms. I'm not hard to find. I speak on a lot of panels on brick and mortar is not only not dead,
Mm,
there is, today, most people don't know that 86.7% of retail shopping is done in physical stores.
yeah,
Even during or let me rephrase that, 86.7% of all retail sales come out of a store. So even in the midst of a pandemic, people still are going to a store. There's a lot of reasons for that. But that is the case. And we're a believer that long term, the store is still here. There will be stores that don't make it because they're not good stores.
right,
And there's this symbiotic relationship between brick and mortar and online, but online's not actually killing the store. That's the myth.
right.
My question to you, did you think about just doing an e-commerce business versus a physical location?
Never. And
Never.
and 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 the reason being is that, look, you can go and buy a pair of shoes. Let's just talk about the footwear segment of what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
If you want to buy a pair of shoes online, you're buying 4 pairs. You're returning 3 if you're lucky to get a better size, right? If you go to, it's this inconvenient process when you fit somebody, when you have a personalized experience with somebody, especially somebody who's knowledgeable. I knew that's what's going to drive people to come in and having that niche, and that it's actually more convenient for them, even if they have to drive a little bit, as opposed to ordering online to get fit properly, get analyzed and have it done one time right then and there. So I
Oh,
was never e-com all the way,
with
ever.
that. And and that experience you just described, it's one of the things that's really challenging with apparel as the owner of the e-com business, right? If I if I sell 4 and she returns 3 and
Mm,
I don't charge her shipping, I'm no pun intended, I'm losing my shirt. I'm not making
yeah,
any money from that sale,
yeah,
right?
right.
And it's a very hard business. Uh, that said, many groups have both a brick and mortar and an online presence. Do you have an online presence as well?
Yeah, we do, and we do have a platform that's actually gone pretty, and they're amongst all the fleet feeds now and stuff, so they do really well. And we brought them on right off the bat. I didn't wait to have that. I wanted it to be seamless, given we didn't know where we were headed with lockdowns again and whatnot. So we just wanted to be prepared, to offer our consumer, what they would expect us have that course.
Excellent. And by the way, speaking of fleet feet, did you end up ever connecting with Kim, the woman who's
She's wonderful. So thank you so much. She is such a beacon of light and has been just truly a, a, a great direction for me. And
oh,
just
great.
she's
That's
awesome.
amazing.
I'm so thankful that you were able to introduce us because
Oh, that's great. Awesome. Um, so you opened in May. Did you hit your projection of sales? Were you short? Did you have any clue? How did it go?
so well, we only made 27. So I was like, and it was like a
Oh,
soft opening. And the reason I made it a soft opening is because I wanted to train our staff
yeah.
while allowing customers to come in before getting out there and exploding on our grand opening, right? So I knew it was going to be a little slower, that first couple weeks. We had our grand opening on June 19th, but the doors were open May 27th. So that was great practice experience, hands-on stuff. I would say, June we were a little shy, but then July, August, and September we hit our mark, and I was really pleased with that. So
Woo!
that's where we need to be. I know that it's going to be lights out for the winter season, January and February, but I'm really excited to get a full year under belt and
Yeah, that's great, man. Well, congrats. That's
thank you.
great to see it. And Are you seeing people buy for holiday? Is that like are running shoes I don't know if I've ever asked this. Are running shoes a Christmas gift?
I think the gift card to the running store is a good Christmas gift because
I see.
everyone who's in that, they're going to be excited to go there and get what they want and do that. So, having seen so much people come in and like, let me get a shoe for my husband, it's more of like, hey, let's get a gift card, and they're going to enjoy the experience of coming there. So, yeah, we're starting to get that gift card, thing, rolling.
Oh, that's good. I didn't think of that. That makes a lot of sense though. The makes a lot of sense. Are you for well, let me go back here for a second. You'll have to delete that, Carrie. So I lost my train of thought for a second. The gift cards. So you it's gonna be slower in the winter.
Mhm.
Will you still do like running events and things like that?
Yeah, we have some holiday events that we're gonna try to get out there and promote. Ultimately, year one of anything, you throw some stuff out there, see what works, what doesn't, and we'll take it with us next year. Coming from a landscape construction business, I know you store all your nuts before the winter because if it don't snow, it ain't working. So I kind of have an idea of how to handle going into a slow season and what that's going to look like. So I'm just going to take it with me, try to host as many events as possible, trying to keep interactive with everybody as possible, and kind of see where it goes.
You mentioned staff before,
Mhm.
and you can't pick up a newspaper without seeing the challenges that business owners are having hiring.
Yeah.
How's that been for you?
I've been really fortunate, and
Wow.
I think it's because this particular industry, you get people that are passionate about it and of all ranges and sizes. So it's really easy in the summertime because you get college runners who are home who want to work at their local run specialty shop. So that was super easy. And then you meet people who have been running for a long time who have an opportunity. It's not necessarily one person who could do full time, as it is a lot of passionate people who can offer certain segments throughout the week, but I haven't had any issues. Knock on wood. I did start off wage at a very good wage for what we're doing. And I think that has a lot to do with it as well. But at the end of the day, it's worth it to me knowing that these people are passionate and are going to push that passion through their service.
Excellent. Okay. Last kind of topic about the store.
Mhm.
What's unique? What's different? What separates Root Runners from maybe some other running stores I'm going to walk into?
Yeah, that's a great question, and there are a lot of similarities.
Sure.
Personalized fit, gait analysis, all the staples of what you'd want at a run specialty, and it's important that we provide those. But I think where other um, stores fail, and depending on who owns them or how big they are, right, you kind of lose a little bit of personal connectivity. But we focus not only on the physical benefits, but on the mental benefits of running as well. So we have specific mental running events that we hold to help people become aware of mental illnesses and to help them understand what's actually going on in your brain when you're running. So we're trying to help erase the stigma, bring awareness, and do that through our run specialty channel. And that's always been behind Root Runner since day one and our brand since day one. So I just think that's a different message you don't really get from a lot of places. And it's not a bad thing on their end. It's just something that I have a passion for, that is important for us.
Got it. Well, that was great. Matt,
Yeah.
this has been fascinating. I'm so excited. I hope
Yeah.
this winter season actually shocks you and you continue to crush it and you come into spring not knowing what to do
Yeah.
because
Cool.
you're crushing it so much. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. I want to take us to the last part of the show. We call this retail wisdom. I got three fun questions for you. Are you ready?
All right. All right. Hit
All
me.
right. Question one. What extinct retailer do you wish would come back from the dead?
All right. I'm going to go with Sports Authority.
All right.
And I'll tell you why. I feel like when I went to Sports Authority as a kid, always as a kid with my parents, the people that worked back then were actually passionate about like getting you into the right equipment. Like it was a different feel and vibe as like dicks is, because like, which I just think's ridiculous. You don't have it anymore. I just miss that vibe that they had in their heyday, in their prime. That was a good sporting store.
Excellent.
Are they extinct?
They
I hope
are.
they.
They are. They went bankrupt. Yes. I had one and we ended up replacing it. I had one in Chicago and we replaced it with a DSW and a Michael's Arts and Crafts. So we
There you
split it
go.
into, yeah. Okay. Question two.
Yeah,
What is the last item over $20 you bought in a store?
it's simple. It's wine.
Why?
Yeah, not because I buy expensive wine, but because I buy 2 bottles, so I don't have to go back the next day.
Perfect answer. Okay.
Yeah.
Last question. If you and I were shopping at Target and I lost you, what aisle would I find you in?
Uh, um, I'm always a sucker, I guess, for looking in the aisle of the things that I'll never actually purchase. So I guess for me as a bald man, I would be in like I know Target every time I pass that men's grooming section, it's like, oh, look at all this nice stuff with people with hair. And I'm like, this is fantastic. So I think that's where I would be.
That's it. That's the best answer I've gotten on that question of all time. Amazing. So like every men's grooming product, even though you can't use it.
Maybe I'll get a nice aftershave. And I'm like, it's too expensive. I'll just keep using rubbing alcohol.
Oh man, incredible. Well, Matt, this was
Uh,
great.
yeah,
Thank you
appreciate you
for
having
coming
me.
on and yeah, man. We'll hopefully we'll build some awareness for root runners, man.
Thank you so much, Chris, and appreciate your time and everybody's help with this. It's been
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, man. Thanks so much for doing that. Um, the what are you doing for the holidays? What are you doing for
Uh,
Thanksgiving?
Hopefully Nicole finally moved to New Jersey. So she's never hosted a holiday before. So we're really hoping that we'll be able to go there. But I don't think she bought a dining room table yet. So I think she's holding off till after the holidays, which I think is a smart move.
Yeah. Is she working crazy hours?
She just uh actually they're much better now that she's at her new hospital. She's at the
Valley.
yeah. So it's like much, much better, like an actual legit schedule as opposed to that, the chaos schedule that she used to have. So I know it's a lot more convenient for her and everybody.
The so I'll give you where I was at. So my wife's from Mountain Lakes, New Jersey,
Mhm.
and my family was up in the Byram area. So
Yeah.
holidays were insane. Like we would split and be going here, there, everywhere, and it was insane. And I was like, I hate this. And so I decided that I was doing the coup d'etat of the holidays.
Nope.
I actually flipped it and said, "Oh,
Nice.
you have
Nice.
you have all these traditions. That's great. Not anymore. I'm making the traditions." And so now for the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and the big ones, people come to me and I don't have to leave my house for the day. I enjoy that.
I like
But
that.
yeah, so then I don't have to go all over God's creation. Obviously, hosting is work.
Yes.
It's work, but
Expensive too.
it is expensive, and it's a lot of work, but I think I prefer to pay that price
The
than
convenience.
to drive all over God's creation.
Right, because you can actually sit, you can have a beverage,
You
enjoy
got it.
it, and not feel like you have to drive and you're exhausted. You got the kids, they're complaining that it's this. You're right, you nailed it. Do you
That's it.
cook or does your wife cook?
So for Thanksgiving, we get it catered.
Smart.
So we get it catered. We get, if you're thinking about it, I think there's obviously it costs more, but if you just break it down, and we order from Jockey Hollow in Morristown.
Okay.
I would recommend you just take a look. We're having 20 people. I don't know how many you would have,
Mm-hmm.
but I would tell you that so for four people,
Mm-hmm.
is a buck 75.
Okay.
So to me, like, that's that's pretty reasonable. Like you're talking less than $50 a person for like pretty solid food. They
Yeah.
and Kate, let's define cater. You have to go to Jockey Hollow in Morristown. They give it to you in like aluminum trays and then you reheat it up,
Right. Right. Okay.
right?
Right.
They're not coming to the house or anything like
Ah,
that,
right. I got you. Yeah.
right? But to me, I mean, nobody has to sit there with the mixer and mash mashed
Yeah.
potatoes or
Oh
anything
my
like that.
gosh. Now, do you keep it classy and do the good plates still, or do you just do the paper plates so that the cleanup is just null and void at the end?
So it's a great question. I would prefer the paper plates,
Right.
but my wife has in the basement, we have the spreads for every holiday. So, no, it is fancy napkins on the plates when you arrive for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so,
Okay. I
yeah,
got you. I mean, because I thought you were going, you eliminated the stress of cooking,
yeah.
but then
So
the other part is the cleanup.
the
So it's almost,
cleanup is insane. Cleanup's insane because yeah, and it's not just that. It's like it's tables. Like we have to bring up tables. We don't have enough tables for like 20 people, so to bring up extra tables and then chairs. And you gotta, it's definitely a process.
yeah, yeah,
And my all the little decorations that go on the tables they're good for one day, Thanksgiving. Then they go back into like a bin. So fortunately, fortunately, with those type of knickknacks and stuff, I'm like Wreck-It Ralph.
yeah.
So I'm not allowed to touch them. So I I don't have that burden, or I just, I get yelled at because you just throw it in the bin, Chris. Oh, well, then you do
Yeah.
it.
You just chucking it. Oh,
uh, so,
uh,
but yeah, the cleanup is definitely annoying. I'll tell you, 1 year. So 1 year, I it was a good year. I wanted to splurge,
mm,
and for Christmas, I blew everyone away. I didn't tell anybody, and we hired a chef to come and cook the Christmas dinner. Now this was expensive, okay?
yeah,
This was expensive, but I wanted to splurge and surprise everyone. And so we found this guy because before we had kids, one of my wife and I's biggest hobbies was like just trying new restaurants. So we were foodies. So we were all over the city, all over North Jersey. We were trying everything. We were the people like in any friend group, like you need a restaurant,
mm,
call Ressa. He knows the spot.
yeah, yeah,
So then you have kids and you never go out to eat. So
yeah.
anyway, we we end up uh my wife ends up for one birthday hiring a chef for my birthday to cook me and like two of my, two couples that were my friends to come over, and he brings the wine, and it was like a cool dinner party, right? And this guy like did it up. Turns out this guy was used to be P. Diddy's personal chef.
Naturally, yeah, nice.
So, and he was crazy, right? But he was
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
So that was like years ago. And then a few years later, we called this guy back up and said, "Hey, would you be willing to do Christmas?" And it's obviously it was a lot more money, but
yeah.
he brings waiters.
No.
It was we were definitely on road. Yeah, he brings
Did they dress
waiters.
up and make it legit?
Yeah, they make it legit.
Yeah, wow.
He brings waiters, brings he brings a sous chef, him, two waiters, and then like a guy to clean all the dishes.
Oh my god.
So and so you we said to ourselves, unless we hit that game changer, we win the lot. We're not going to do that one again. But
Yeah, right,
as
right.
a once in a,
God,
it was really really
that's
it,
remarkable.
it was really cool Christmas. Like people were blown away. Now, typically, right? It's holidays, hopefully they're a little less formal than like, but this is one like everyone had to be like he called you in.
Yeah.
He said, "Everyone, please be seated."
Oh, wow.
And then he brings the salad plates over to everyone. And then he's like, "Okay, everyone can go watch the game or do whatever you're doing. We'll tell you when the next course is ready." Oh, these waiters were bringing around hors d'oeuvres.
What?
Yeah, it was really cool. So it was really cool.
It is really cool.
It
That's
was
a
really
good
cool.
one-time talking.
Yeah, exactly. It was really cool. And the guy was, and he makes it, he's like a pretty, and it's interesting, right? Because he, we're like, he doesn't bring, unless it's a specialty, he doesn't bring any utensils. He just uses your stuff. And my wife's like, how's he gonna know where like things are? And he's like, I know my way around kitchen. I'll be fine. You stay in there. I got this. And so my wife was like, okay. And sure enough, he figured it out. He knew everything. And I mean, you know, we don't have a professional kitchen oven in our house. So we're like, how's he gonna do this?
Yeah,
But he
made it work.
he made it work. I mean,
Wow.
we got it was his thing is espresso rubbed filet mignon. And then you got to tell him if someone doesn't like red meat or whatnot, or they're vegetarian, and he'll do something up like that for them. But that was the main course with like a bazillion sides, and this is like he's got a specialty salad that's like his shtick. So
Yeah,
it was cool.
dude, that's incredible.
Yeah,
Wow.
so worth a try.
Yeah, that is cool. That's awesome.
So if someone comes over and offers you triple for one of your rental properties, I recommend taking a piece and doing that.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. You ain't kidding.
Anyway, man, I gotta run. Thanks
Yeah.
for doing this.
No, I appreciate it, Chris. Thank you, man. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. I'll catch you later.
All right, you got it.
Take care.
Appreciate you watching. Hit subscribe. See you in the next one.